let's do this. And we're live. Hello, everyone, Facebook communities, Red Studio users, family. My name is Carly. I am the director of brand here at Sprout Studio, and I have the pleasure of speaking to and having my co-host today be LaJune King. LaJune King, everyone, this way. Now, LaJune, if you don't mind, please introduce yourself. Tell us about who you are, where you're from, the type of photography you do. The floor is yours.
Okay, sure. My name is LaJune King, aka the Pink Starburst. If you have never heard of that, that's a whole nother story in itself. I am the owner of Photos by LJK, Black Story Studio, and Know Your Beautiful Women's Empowerment Campaign, and I am located in Frisco, Texas. I specialize in the client experience, personal branding, and families of color. I have been with Sprout, I would like to say, since last January. So, maybe a year and a half now.
Yes.
Um, absolutely love it. And I use Nikon. I just got to throw that part in there.
Oh no. I don't know
Camera.
if you. Yeah, there's like huge camera wars. So I came from a film background and a marketing background, but film as in like movies. And so when I started at Sprout, I had an Nikon myself, and I didn't realize how much like war there is around cameras. Brian Caparici was trying to like get everyone in the office on Fuji. It was so funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I love that you're a Nikon user. All right, let's get into this live. I'm super excited. So, like you mentioned, you are a brand specialist. This live is all about branding, and I think the first place I really want to start is kind of the centerpiece of it all. This brand identity that you have carved yourself so well. It's the Pink Starburst Experience. So maybe if you can explain a little bit about what that is, and then the origin story of it. I'm dying to know. I already know. I feel like everyone kind of knows it's that like social almost norm of like what you get when you get a pink starburst. It's like the best of the best, but I will let you explain.
Okay. You hit the nail on the head. Okay. Pink Starburst are my absolute favorite chewy candy in the world. And before this came about, I was really big on the client experience, and I really just called it the ultimate client experience. The ultimate client experience, as you think about it, sounds very blah. There's nothing really blah about me. So one day, this is actually during 2020, right before this was my first appearance to WPPI. Um, I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to call it the Pink Starburst Experience. And I had to go into this whole spiel about what that means and what that looks like. So I had to create this story for friend photographer and just say, when you chew it, when you open, because this is before all pinks, by the way, were really popular. Whenever you open your pack of Starburst, what flavors do you pull out? What flavors do you discard? What flavors do you save for like a really rainy day to where they're really hard and they're going to break teeth? So it's like Starburst is the one that I always go to. I'll eat the red second, orange is last, and yellow, I just throw those away. So I was like, man, it would be great if I called this the Pink Starburst Experience. Well, I always think of legal issues well in advance before anything ever happens, right? So I'm like, man, the Pink Starburst, this is going on, and people are calling me a Pink Starburst at this time. My brand colors have nothing to do with pink. So when I tell you this is like an overnight situation, y'all, it's overnight. I had purple, and it was a whole bunch of rainbow colors, but it was purple, green, and blue. Those were my branding colors. And I reached out to Mars, and I was like, oh my God, y'all, I love you so, so much. Like, this is my favorite candy. I even call my client experience the Pink Starburst Client Experience. I would just love to be able to work with you one day. So I did that, and this happened in March. I remember March 2020, before the world shut down, because I was literally on my way to Costa Rica, and then I got a DM back from them, and they said that we're going to send you some swag in the mail. Please send us your mailing address. I was like, oh yeah, cool, that's fine. Yeah, I'll send them my mailing address. All they're going to do is send me some pink starburst, whatever, maybe a mug, and then go about my business. So I got back, from the trip. Mind you, it's the scariest thing coming back, right? Because the world shut down while we were gone. So 2 days after the world shut down, I get here, I get my package, I'm wiping it down, because you don't know what's happening, what's in it. And I opened it. Y'all, they had the biggest bags of pink Starburst I could think of. I have it's up in my bedroom, but they gave me a postcard that says, LaJune, you are a pink Starburst. And I was like, yes, I am. Thank you for validating that. I, uh, they sent me 3 different t-shirts. Like, it was so much swag that I was just in love. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I started calling myself the Pink Starburst after that. And when it came time to do my rebrand or my brand refresh, we will say, um, the web designer was like, okay, well, how about we do this because you're known as the Pink Starburst? And I'm like, yeah, that's so everything now is literally Pink Starburst. Whenever I speak somewhere, I have to have on a piece of that just so it can coincide with Pink Starburst.
I love that. I love first that number one that was like so meta, right? Like your branding of the pink starburst effect and experience that you provide, and almost the client, almost what Mars did for you and Starburst themselves. They made you feel so special with that brand packaging. And so it's just like an extension of like almost what you're talking about today, what you give to your clients. It's that wow factor. It's that nothing less than a pink starburst. So that's super meta in itself that came full circle. And I also love that it's a big thing going around in like the social like sphere. And with TikTok, when people go out of their way to like tag a brand, or there was a little boy who just got she's like a famous TikTok photographer, and he was playing baseball, and he was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer. And you could see in the TikTok comments like every single one of like the major leagues, like baseball teams, like commenting, being like, let us send you some stuff. So it's just like the above all kind of branding that was super, it's just super cool to hear, and I'm so happy that you got to experience that. But yeah. And then the second part that I wanted to talk about is that Brian just recorded a podcast for the Business of Photography podcast, and so it's coming out in the coming weeks. But what he said in the transcription is, take a lot of what people don't just copy and paste, carbon copy, right? So you want to be your own person, and I think what you said, like my branding before was the ultimate like client experience, and like how often do you see that, right? Like how do you actually stick out and cut the noise? Because like marketing itself and like social media, it's so saturated. So the fact that you pick something that resonates universally with people, so like you almost said, like what ones do you like throw out, which ones do you keep? I feel like people have that with like their favorite pop, or they like it just extends to so many other things. So I think it's so cool that you picked that, because it's setting the expectation without even meeting you, and you do meet up to the expectations above and beyond. So kudos to you. I love that. How do you one of the questions I had here was, how do you integrate that not only into your professional life but in your personal life? Or are you just a pink starburst, like that is just actually you, so the brand identity is just there?
I feel like I am Pink Starburst. I feel like God has blessed me to be with people and give me all of this good energy. So I literally am trying to be the change I want to see. I want the same respect that I give to people. Like, I literally wake up every day to be a better person. So like, it's just something that's in me. Like, I can't hide it as much as I tried to. I can't, like, I can give you examples of um my husband and I may be going somewhere where there are going to be a whole bunch of people, and it could be for his events because he's very corporate and their events are very corporate, right? So
Yeah.
it could be something as simple as that, and I'm literally over at the table minding my business, just sitting, whatever. And there's always somebody that comes up to me and just feels the energy still. And they're like, oh my God, nice to meet you. Oh my God, I bet you're so fun. And I'm like, literally, I'm just trying to sit here and just be present. And so it's easy for people to pick up, which is a blessing, I guess, because I could give off yellow Starburst energy, but I try to be pink in every single thing that I do just because I believe in karma. And I just want to be a better person. And why not be a pink starburst to be a better person?
I love that. And I like that you're authentic, right? So your branding uh, is it translates, right? So I think that for photographers who might not be like outgoing or etc., I think that you said like to be a good person at the end of the day, to be authentic and to be kind. I feel like you're in a service kind of industry and you want your clients are the heroes. I feel like as long as your brand persona is able to translate into that, I think that like you, as long as you're authentic, it almost just works in your favor. So that's awesome. I love that.
I actually, believe it or not, was afraid to put myself into my brand when I first started out as a photographer. Um, my name was LJK Photos. You didn't know my real name. I wouldn't put any pictures of my family. Like it was very professional, I guess corporate feel to it.
Yeah.
And I realized when I did that, I wasn't booking the clients that I wanted. I wasn't booking clients that were making me happy. So kind of stuffy, and I'm not a stuffy person. So I decided to just give it a chance and push myself out there and put me in front of my brand. And I feel like it's worked out for me
Yeah.
because it could not have, I could not be in business right now. Um, but I feel like there are so many things in this world that people can take from you, but they cannot take who you are. So like I just try to show up as I can authentically and always show the good and the bad as well.
I love that. What would you say to new photographers who might are afraid to kind of step out? I find, especially with Sprout, we're always searching for new photographers and, like we'll look up our users and see what they're up to and always trying to see their faces because, you're not a number to us, especially in Sprout. We're not like a Silicon Valley. We just take your like user ID. We want to get to know the people that we talk to every single day, and we have like this pleasure of like working for, right? Everything that we do is to help photographers make a living doing what they love. So when I go to photographers' websites, especially we did a challenge last year for branding actually, and I was shocked to see that about us there was like no pictures. I'm like, who are these people's beautiful faces? Like I would just love to get them to put the face to the name, right? So what advice would you give to new photographers, or not even necessarily new, but who are trying to keep it separate or um,
I feel like there's no way to keep your personal life separate from your business. And I only say that because life happens, right? And let's just pretend that we have a session scheduled and something very traumatic happens in my life. I believe that the client is going to be more receptive to me saying, I apologize because this is what's happened. I have to reschedule versus saying, oh, something came up and we can't do your session today, so I'm going to reschedule. That's not going to go over as smooth as it would be for them to see you as a human. Because I feel like the only way that we can get to the top is to be seen as humans, to be seen as, oh my God, I don't ever want somebody to look up to me and only see the good, or they only see today and they don't know the struggles that I had to get here. So, just being able to open up. I always say, talk about it. If you can't talk about it in the moment, because if I'm going through something, I don't talk about it in the moment. I have to get out of it so I can give another perception of it. And I'll talk about it and how I got through it because people need to see it. Especially things like imposter syndrome and stuff like that. Not necessarily looking at the big names. And when I say the big names, I mean these are the people that we aspire to be so much that we want to copy their style. We want to take from their website. You can do all of these things, be yourself, and book the client that you need, because trying to emulate someone else, understand that when you get a client, because they see you as someone else and you don't show up as your authentic self, they're not going to work with you anymore. So,
Mhm.
just be yourself in all ways. Don't be afraid to show a little bit of your personality. Don't be afraid to show a bit of your personal life,
Mhm.
because by doing so, you know who is for you. Based off of your beliefs or how you live and things like that, that will let you know if the client is really for you.
True.
That's
I love that. I love like the vulnerability and the getting the not only that we qualified leads, but the leads that you actually want to work with, right? So that's awesome. I love that. We also have comments that I just want to shout out quickly. You are the reason, LaJune, why I post more photos of me and my family. You reviewed the IG page, and this person didn't post any of their work. So I can't see the names there. I think there's an eCam link if you want to click accept. Right now, you're just Facebook user, but thank you so much for commenting. And another user just said, wonderful advice. You are such a huge part of what you do when you work in a creative field. So I love that. So, next question about this pink starburst experience. How do you, oh, it was Farah.
correct.
For Ray. Oh, my apologies.
Okay.
I love
Yay!
Ray. Oh, I love that. Um, LaJune, how do you incorporate your starburst experience into Sprout Studio?
Oh my gosh. So, okay, let me first say that I write all my emails. I'm saying this because AI is a whole thing now. I I have maybe 50 plus emails from before when I didn't have a CRM. It was kind of, I wrote everything out, obviously,
Yeah.
and automated it myself, I'll say. But I have 50 plus emails that I've created that sound like me for different scenarios within a business that may happen. And I incorporate them into my client experience. I love how I can personalize Sprout to continue to sound like me, but still give it a very professional um, look and feel to my brand. I don't feel like let me just say I'm happy that it doesn't necessarily have Sprout all over it whenever I send over any correspondence for my clients. But I do love that y'all have gone the extra mile to put in contracts and email communication for people who have a difficult time with articulating their words and how they want to say something, or having to go purchase contracts that we've all purchased them before, and you're like, somebody's like, they look over, they're like, what is this and where'd you get this from? But I love the simplicity of y'all's, and just how that shows me that you're not just any other CRM. Like, you're actually here, you pay attention, and you help those that want to come in and use your CRM.
Oh, I love that. I think a big part there's almost two sides to Sprout. There's the back end of Sprout, which is very sprouty. We
Mhm.
have our rounded corners and our fun little colors, but then there's the client end. That's the front end, and that's where um, the photographer, you shine, right? It's your branding that gets shown. It's your display images, the flexibility and customization of like having your brand colors and your fonts and having that all display with your images. We try to do a really good job of showcasing the client's work, which is technically you guys. I mean, your clients are your clients, but yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Can I ask you what your favorite feature is in Sprout?
Well, it before it was the email templates and the gallery like appearance. Right now, I'm absolutely loving the mini session breakdown, because before it was very time consuming to do.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've shared with you before, like I really love that. Oh, the favorite part of the mini session breakdown is, if we have 20 sessions available, we have 20 sessions available. And we can have a countdown for how many sessions are left for clients to get the, oh my God, I got to have this FOMO situation because there are only 2 sessions left kind of thing. I'm so glad that y'all have made it a little easier for us when it comes to booking mini sessions, because for me, mini sessions happen once or twice a year. So for me to have had to create an entire system just for that, it was a lot for me. So now it's so much easier, and I can literally copy and paste what I did before, just change out the dates.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that was a great feature ad. Okay, next question about Sprout, but really about you. Tell us about your workflow. So, give us a little insight. I think you made something potentially for us of your 3-step workflow. But show us the pink Starbucks, or I keep saying Starbucks because it's literally right beside me. Yeah. It's addicting. But show us the pink Starburst experience and your workflow in Sprout or within this. I know you
Yeah.
made something for.
Okay. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So don't laugh at how extra I am, because I am very extra. But this is just a small, these are the bare minimums that you can do to create a workflow for Sprout. Okay. I don't know why I increased that. Okay. All right. So let's open the book. Okay, so you have your pre-booking workflow. You have your client inquiry when they receive their one pager, and this lists the things that you photograph and what you don't photograph, we'll say, and just the bare minimums of what they need to book you. From there, they will receive an automated email that links them to the discovery call calendar. From there, they can book a phone or Zoom discovery call with you and get the full pricing. Then we do the Zoom or phone discovery call, depends on whatever it is they chose. And I always include explain the experience with client Google reviews. So I'm really big, remember, on the client experience, and I'm on the road to 200 5-star Google reviews. So I always suggest that clients read over my Google reviews just to make sure that we are a perfect match for each other. Because in the event that we are not, I'm okay with that. But I also have someone that can help them that's a little bit more, boring or whatever they're looking for. Okay. um, Session workflow, they receive the contract and retainer for the invoice has been paid. That gets them into whichever workflow that they purchased. Client welcome guide and an intro video. I feel like everybody needs to create an intro video. Not all the time will we be able to do the Zoom consult with someone. They may be on the go, you may be on the go, to where it's only a phone consult. But an intro video really makes it more personable with them, and they get an idea of your personality before y'all work together. Immediately, I send hair, makeup, and what to wear. This is something that I do not want to wait, 3 days before the session to send. I send this immediately, because if you have preferred vendors that you recommend for your clients, they need to be able to book those vendors so they'll be ready for their big day. Um, Before the session, somewhere between what to wear, what to expect, and the reminder, I send them the product guide for IPS. I forgot to add that part, but in the discovery call, I have also gone over what products I offer for the client as well, just so that lets them know that I am not a shoot and burn photographer, or I'm not just going to give you digitals. I expect you to see yourself in print. Um, and then the night before the session, I send a reminder of their session and how to prepare the night before. And then we have our Pink Starburst Field photo session. And right after the session, I have a Google review reminder. Just let them know, hey, you've already seen a few of our in the camera photos. That's what you should expect from me. Just imagine how much it's gonna look how better it's gonna look whenever we get them edited. But so far, if you're loving what you're experiencing with me, save this for your Google review. I never ask anybody to do the Google review until they see their images. That's just
Right.
my little thing.
I
Okay.
think that's so, if I can just pause for a moment, I love that. That's in, I think it's in this step two. So pre, during, post, having
Uh-huh.
Google reviews, almost that expectation and that storyline of what to expect and getting them at almost that high. So that climax, you've just previewed a bit of your images. It's such amazing sales psychology, right? So they've just purchase or essentially seen their purchase come to life, right? And so they're getting that product from you, and I'm sure because it's you, they couldn't be more than happy, right? So getting them at that highest point to be like, hey, like, but and however you word it, like incorporating the Google review into that is just like genius. So just kudos to you.
Thank you. Post session. No, this is the best part. I always try to make dads cry because if I feel like I can make a dad cry, I have done my job for the year.
Oh my god.
Um, so I always send. Oh, I do send a gift for this email that they get about the IPS. Just the Viola Davis clapping like, "Oh my God, I can't wait for our session, our IPS." But I always remind people to grab some tissue for your IPS. I know, you're not expecting to, be teary eyed or whatever, but you just never know the moments that I capture for you is because I want people to see the real you. So a lot of times I get people to grab their tissue. Now we cry during the IPS because we're going through our favorites and things. And immediately after we are done with our slideshow, I get the Google review while they're wiping their tears because this is the moment where they feel the most vulnerable about the session, especially for those who feel like, oh, I'm not photogenic. I don't know what to expect, or they come in. I've gotten a lot lately, people saying that my website looks luxury, too luxury. Um, 3 clients ago, I had a lady tell me that her niece told her that the caliber of clients that I photographed, she would not fit into that. So she didn't think that we would be a good fit because she didn't see her as top tier. So I was like, really? I said, okay. I said, well, come on, do the session, book your makeup. We're going to make this a time to remember. And she's like, okay, whatever. So she came in, she did all of these steps that I'm going through right now. And she felt like she was on the cover of an Essence magazine once I was done with her. So that just goes to show that, keep trust the process. Just make sure every client trusts your process. They can't trust a process that you have not created. So make sure you create a process for them to trust. But all of this stems from everything that I'm doing right now. We order the product right after the Google review because you may be in a position where you can give them an incentive if you would like. So you can get your Google review done right then. You just let them take a few moments to write out the Google review. You'll sit and you'll wait. And then once they're done with that, you start your order process. I like to hand deliver all of my products if I can because I like to record them. I like to record the reaction of the client opening their stuff, and they just don't expect that from me. So I hand deliver with my signature wrapping. I also incorporate, guess what? Pink Starburst into my final delivery. Optional, you can send an internet feature to the client and just let them know, hey, I got you featured here. So if you want to reshare it, you're more than welcome to. That's just a way for people to post your business without them knowing that they're posting your business. And then last but not least, you continuously improve your experience for your clients.
Wow. I love that. That was absolutely incredible. I feel like if anyone in the comment section below, where can they get that from you? Can they DM you? Can they, I
Yeah,
mean,
what? Guess what? You know what? Because I am, what did I tell y'all? I am the pink starburst. I'm already ready to send this to you. Okay.
oh my goodness.
All right. Here we go. Copy. And then I'm going to put that over here if I can.
Let's see.
Let me know if you all can see it.
Dun, dun, dun. Now, would you suggest for people who want to kind of uh, expand their client experience to make it this starburst energy, writing it out first, because I feel like sometimes it might be overwhelming in Sprout, and so to be able to see the clear funnel and flow of it first, to be like, where can I be exceptional? Because I feel like even the bits of knowing where you said even your clients feel the most vulnerable or the most happy, or where they might not be sure, you've kind of really thought about not only the physical, like the actual task itself that you have to run through, but the emotive side to that. So attaching that and placing where, like, even the energy of hyping up the IPS session and hyping up again, like, oh, I'm like, we're going to record this like opening of your albums, because what a amazing experience to see it go from digital to like something that's a heirloom item, right? Forever keepsake. So I think I just see the link here. I'm going to pop it in here and we'll get that to everyone. I'll give this, Emily, I'm sending it to you right now so you can pop it into the chat. LaJune has just given everyone that 3-step workflow.
I also think that you have to, that's a basic, you have to enhance your workflow for you. Like, that is the bare minimum of what I would send a client just to make them feel like a pink starburst. But obviously, I have more things within my workflow that I create for them. That's just something that I feel is very important, and it speaks to my brand. Because if you're more of a simplistic a photographer that doesn't necessarily require all of the ins and outs, like, that's okay, but that's just continue to improve the pieces of what you do want to push out to your client.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you never want to get too tired or too comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with getting the experience that you get. So
I love that. Okay, I want to quickly wrap this up because you are the queen of branding with branding itself. So, the team here actually has secretly relaunched this thing called Brand Modal. And so, all of our users right now and the people that are watching this video that are Sprout Studio Sprouters, you might have not noticed this because this is something you would have set up, but this is fantastic. Number one, if you're a new Sprouter. Number two, if you are, as we know, changing your brand, doing a refresh. I know that we love to do that. Probably, what would you say? Every 2 years is a good time to relook at your brand, to do a refresh?
I feel like your images should be refreshed annually, like at least once a year for us. Remember, I'm putting personal information on there, so I have my family. I don't want someone to see, although my son is growing like a weed. So we literally took these photos last March, and I feel like we need to take more pictures because he's grown so much since then. But at least once a year, I don't, I feel like, okay, I'm sorry to say this, y'all, but if you have a web designer who is a true web designer, you should not have to change your website as much. Yes, you can tweak a
Mm-hmm.
few things like your experience page or about me page. There may be pages that you add because you're adding on pieces, layers of life now, like me for speaking engagements and things like that. You can add those things, but I don't feel like your website needs to change unless you are making a complete shift. If you did it right the first time, I personally don't feel like your website should have to change. Yes, you can change out your images and things like that. Um, but we don't know what we don't know. We think that we can go do, I've done it before, y'all. We could do a DIY, DIY
You got
um,
it.
it and push it out and it be like the greatest thing to gold, or we choose brand colors that speak to us and not our client, so it's kind of like, if we get it the first time, we don't have to change as much. But I do believe that we should always have updated images of ourselves. But it speaks to us doing what we do. If we're asking clients to update their pictures once a year and we're not doing so, It's kind of like I'm a hypocrite and you shouldn't work with me.
That's a fair point. I also feel like, especially for um, commercial portrait branding photographers, when your brand itself is not up to date, it's almost like that lack of trust, right? It's like, how are you going to make my brand shine, or my company, or these headshots that I need for XYZ? So, yeah, great advice. I want to showcase quickly the feature, and I know we had technical difficulties before this, but I'm going to do my best. And then I think we just have to reveal maybe something at the end of if people wanted to maybe see you in
Okay.
person.
Okay.
We'll do this. Share screen. This is my beautiful backdrop, and we're going to go to Google Chrome. So this is the brand new brand modal. So when you start your trial with Sprout, you'll actually go through something called Startup Wizard. It's something that it's like a little pop-up that this is where you probably, if you remember, got to upload your logo, add your hex code, add your headshot, right, to really like make it yourself. Now, just say if you skip those steps, you're in a hurry, you got to meet a client, you didn't think that Sprout was going to ask you this many questions to start off with, because we obviously want to be friends right away. This modal now is still present, so you guys can go back in if you're a new user, or let's just say you're expanding, you have a new brand, or you're doing those tweaks, like LaJune said, where you have a different shade, or you have to update your headshot photo. And this kind of just demos kind of where it is. So if I go in here, so let's see, I got so many screens going. I'm going to close this off for a second. And so I'm in Sprout. I'm in our little test account here. So I'm in Brian's. And so this is your settings page. Now, if you go to branding and to the brands, we have actually photos by LJK here. And so now you can see this will, can you see now? Oh my God, can no one see? I think I'm sharing my screen. If you can see, please comment below because I can see the comments still. Can you see my screen?
Possibly, maybe it's in Facebook and not here. It's okay. I'll go look. I know it's amazing
Yeah.
because
You're probably just seeing my face right now. Yes.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
Emily can see it. Okay, perfect. So this is kind of where you can pick your brand to shine. You can have, you can change your brand name here. This is where your logo shows up, your contact information. You can now, this is addition that we just added because social is so important these days. I think especially for top of funnel leads. And so especially Instagram is almost like people's profile. TikTok is now search. So you want to think of TikTok as people in your area looking up for photographers, especially. So now you can have your social links. So now your clients can become your followers and your audience and really create that connection that, they think of you now for their next session. So we've just added those links, which is really exciting. So if you, of course, aren't a new user and want to go back into the brand modal, go into settings and brand, and you can click your brand and add all your social settings there. You have your address, color palette, images. So we have your logo, we have your color, you can have a photo. We just uploaded the actual hex color, your email header. Now it's not previewing here, but when you send those pretty emails, you can have it set up here. So all of kind of what you talked about in your workflow of setting up those emails, that consistency of branding. When you choose the pretty email options, this now shows. Your gallery cover will show. Here you can choose that in here, and then your brand portfolio. So those are those 10 images that get shown for examples. So that's the brand modal, guys. Really exciting. And of course, I know we were talking about this earlier. If I close here, you can always, so as you're expanding brands, this is how you add a new brand. It's simple as that. I know we talked about setting permissions and stuff. So if you have a brand for just maybe you and your husband, your wedding photographers, but then you have maybe a commercial and portrait photography, you can have different users attached to that brand. So just some exciting stuff that we're happy to share, especially with LaJune here, who knows a thing or two about branding. But yeah, let me get back into Ecamm here. And if anyone has any questions, I can see it. Perfect, perfect. I got a fire emoji. That's dope. Yeah, I think you do such a great job of. I know too. You said that you didn't have pink. You actually had purple, but
Yeah.
your font, the font that you chose with your web designer, it gives off, so that's in pink, I've noticed that, but it gives off Starburst energy. It's just so vibrant. It's a sans serif, or no, it's a cursive font. But yeah, just your branding itself just speaks on its own and has such a persona that I recommend everyone in Sprout, because you're delivering those workflows, those emails, when they get your booking pages, your mini session page that you mentioned, all of those colors, all of those headers, how you show up, those headshots are all going to be in Sprout. So make sure you're as consistent as an amazing workflow that you had is presented. So yeah, I'm kind of see if I can get out of here. And we're back. There
The
we go.
first the first thing I tell people when they're setting up their Sprout is go customize it first. I don't know, it makes it feel like it's gonna be an easier process if you go in and customize it to your brand and then process everything. It comes together for me. So that's typically the first step that I give people whenever I sit with them to set up their Sprout.
I love it. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Especially as creatives, having that like space and that space your own. That's where it's like you get the new room, you paint the walls, you add the wallpaper, you put on the curtains, and then it's like then you get to add all of the things to it. So your workflows, your schedulers, all that kind of stuff that makes that room actually work for you for the space. And it is available now, right now, if you go into settings and into brand. I want to wrap this up quickly. I think we only have a few more minutes. But LaJune, if someone wanted to maybe learn more about your experience, your Pink Starburst experience, and wanted to see it in person, is there maybe something or somewhere that they could do that?
Yeah. Okay, so if you just want to hear my voice, you can always purchase them on photosbojk.teachable.com. If you would like to see me in person this year, I am starting at the Photo Cookout in August. In November, I am going to the Peculiar Collective, and you've heard it here first. In January, I'm feeling
So amazing. We
so
do.
yes. So, yeah, but if you ever want to, just reach out and I can look over your stuff for the first one is on me, okay? Look over your workflow, and then if you'd like to book a session with me, you can. But I'm on Photos for LJK everywhere. So yeah, that's it.
I feel like we just brushed past that. She's going to Imaging USA.
Oh yes, I want to imitate
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of a big deal. This way, this way.
you.
Opposite, yeah. Oh my goodness.
So
Cute.
that's it.
I love it. Well, if anyone has any more questions, I think everyone's just wishing you congratulations. Such an accomplishment, I feel like. That's huge. And I mean, speaking to you today, obviously, like who wouldn't we want on stage speaking about this experience, who you are, showing how far you've come. Yeah, you are the embodiment of Pink Starburst. So thank you so much for being with us today. Emily's posting the links there. So the teachable links, your Instagram, how to connect. You can go to LaJune's page there. So GetSpreadStudio/LaJune-King. And you can also use LaJune's discount code. So you can get 20% off of your Sprout subscription. So if you're watching this and not a Sprout user, you can now use LaJune's code, get set up, and make sure you start with your branding modal. So yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for seeing me. I tell y'all that every single time I end with Sprout. Thank you for seeing me.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you. See you.